will be talking. Of course, we've got one of your best sitting with us this morning here in studio. Danny Murphy's with Simon and myself. And of course, we'll look at Liverpool's performance and what they did to get that 5-0 win at Old Trafford yesterday, and it was something else. But for now, forgive us, Liverpool fans, the focus is on United and what on earth they do now at this stage in the proceedings, because we're about to go into November and a crucial stream of games coming up with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the helm. Is he still the man to be in charge of the football club? More from Simon and Danny at the moment, but this was his reaction to that question yesterday.
I do believe in myself. I do believe that I'm getting close to what I want with the club. I think what we've done, what I've seen, the development. Of course, the results lately haven't been good enough, I have to say, and that brings doubt in anyone's mind, probably. But I've got to keep strong, and I do believe in what we've been doing, the staff, the coaching staff, the players. Today is rock bottom, low in confidence, but we have to look forward. We have to sort the frame of minds out and make sure we go into next training session in the next game with the right frame of mind.
Subjective.
So that was Stuart. That was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Stuart in Southport, one of many getting in touch this morning. Simon Jordan's summary of Manchester United and Ole was the best bit of radio I've heard all year. I'm a Manchester United fan. I love the guy. I really want it to work out for him, but I'm afraid it's not going to.
No.
I mean, Danny, I'm looking at the messages saying almost all the messages in front of me at the moment, and there are hundreds upon hundreds United fans saying it's not worked out, it is not working out, but crucially it's not going to work out. They've made their minds up.
Yeah, I think sometimes you have to just accept your level. You give it a go, you do your best. A bit like when you play, I was talking to you earlier, when you play, you try and be the best player in the world, you try and be the best in your position, and you reach the level you get to, and then you kind of work out where you are, and you know what your strengths and weaknesses are. And you have good games along the way, like Ollie's had some good games where he's set up a tactical plan and beat Man City a couple of times, and they've had some moments, PSG, to Simon, but ultimately, week in, week out, he can't compete with the managers he's up against. A bit like me playing against Gerrard and Vieira every week. I'll give it my best. I will. I'll try, and on the odd day, I'll get the better of them, on the odd day. But more often than not, they're going to dominate me because they're better.
Now, but it's not fair on him either. He's been put in a position, everyone that's put him in this position, everyone that keeps him in that position, whether it's pundits or the executive vice chairman or the owners, they're culpable because they're putting somebody in a position that cannot do the job. And if you dig deep and really distill it down with these people, whether it's Neville, whether it's Ferdinand, whether it's Ed Woodward, whether it's Richard Arnold, whether it's the Glazers, and ask them to put their house on it and say, right, put yourself in the game now, properly in the game. Would you bet your entire house on this guy being able to achieve what's needed? And they'd all backpedal if they're focused in that respect, because everybody knows that it takes a certain type of chops to be able to operate at the highest level. He's nowhere near close. He's close to maintaining a decent atmosphere in the club. He's actually not even close to that anymore because it's going to go on the turn now. And what's going to happen to him, unfortunately, is, like I said earlier on, it's going to be a death of a thousand cuts. He's got players out there that aren't doing their jobs. He's got players that aren't good enough to do their jobs. He's got players like Pogba that have got the ump and come on and throw themselves around and let people down, and people defending that sort of positioning. You've got players like Fernandes that are a luxury, that look great on the eye but don't do enough for the team. You've got game IQ out there from some of these so-called international footballers that beggars belief. But beyond all of that, the tone and temperature and consequence, Danny said it last week, and it's the most sage-like piece of observation that you need to have. These players don't think there's a consequence to the decisions that they're making or the performances they're putting in. And without that edge, without that jeopardy, without that consequence, you do not have an elite football team.
Paul Thompson wants me to ask you, before we go any further, Paul, good morning to you. Jim, put it to Simon. Is the best thing now for Ole to walk away?
He's not objective enough to do that. When you've got people that are coercing you into the belief, whether it's the people that you're employed by or your mates in the media, and that's an accusation that's been made of us about Steve Bruce, that ultimately give you the feeling that you can do it, you're not objective. Is he going to walk away? Probably not. I thought Souness's idea was the lesser of all evils, which is right now, while these guys are entranced in a position to own this football club, that somehow or another he's going to lead them down the pathway and out to some sort of solution. Maybe a top-level coach to help him find some sort of solution and damage limitate, because really and truly, United are a mile off. You're going to see how
Yeah.
they level themselves against Tottenham, and then you're going to see them again
Yeah.
get schooled by Man City.
A lot of people are saying, is it the same thing that happened to Lampard at Chelsea? Was the job too big for him too early? Tactically, have they got it to do it?
They're very different jobs.
Different,
but
isn't it?
yeah, I understand the comparison in terms of Frank's inexperience. But you're 3 years in, you should be seeing a much bigger progression in terms of being competitive against the best.
Yeah.
And they've gone backwards this season. Maybe there is, with the new signings, an expectancy from the fans that transfers to Ole, where he's got to be this free-flowing, play nice football. He's lost the pragmatism which he had in certain games last year. Because we've made these 3 signings, we're now going to compete. But that's not the way it works. You compete by being... Liverpool showed how a well-oiled machine works yesterday, with 3 or 4 of their normal players not even in the team. And that's good coaching.
Yeah.
United just go out and play. I mean, the analysis was there for everybody to watch over and over again. You can't, doesn't matter how good your players are, you can't go out and play that way and expect to win football matches. So a change is needed. I think what Simon just said about the coach, I don't see how that's going to work, because even though it seems like a reasonable idea,
It's not the ideal solution.
it's going to be so undermining for him. And actually, if they get a few good results when a new coach comes in, they're just going to, what are they going to say?
Well, Gary Neville made the point, yes, that's what happened to Middlesbrough. Venables going to have to join Robson, Brian Robson. He didn't want that.
Hold on a second. Bringing Terry Venables in, who was the England manager, who carries a bag of perception in front of him, is very different than bringing a
No,
very
it still
skilled...
undermines a guy who's there.
But Venables wasn't a number 2. He's a manager. You don't bring in a manager beneath a manager.